skateboarding was so like, it was so big, and it was such a production, and Powell Peralta, and even Santa Cruz, all those guys, they had really major budgets to their films. Wheels on Fire, Streets of Fire. Those videos were like major productions compared to anything that I could identify with. And I still was gravitating towards the street skaters in those videos because those were the dudes that I could pull inspiration from and apply it around where I lived. But in the early 90s when, from like 1990 when like, the H Street video, Shackle Me Not, Hocus Pocus came out, and then, directly following Rubbish Heap and Blind Video Days, that era of skateboarding seemed so critical because they were encouraging skateboarders everywhere to go out and make it happen yourself. And at first you felt like if you did that, it was just for you and your mom and your friends to watch. But after they did it and made skateboard videos that were legit, that all your friends and everybody was watching constantly, and they made them with like home VHS cameras, it was a really big shift in what you felt was possible. And all of a sudden the Sponsor Me video, came into play right around that time. And I think the early 90s, being able to, getting the impression that it was okay to film, on VHS cameras and, whatever, 8mm cameras. I think getting the okay and the feeling of that was okay was just such a huge movement in skateboarding. And it definitely moved me and opened up a lot of doors, Sponsor Me videos and us filming our own videos and thinking that, that was something that was like worthy of being done. I think that inspiration was like really, really key. I think that it's gone through waves of like, it being like really DIY and then things getting polished again and then going back to, getting really DIY. I think we are still, that still has an impact on what we're doing now, but now things are getting more polished again with HD, and there's definitely a distinction between, like a Sponsor Me video and, what the videos that all the companies are making. Just the fact of the equipment getting a lot more expensive and getting a lot more, status quo, HD status quo now. Kids are starting to get HD setups out there, but they haven't all gotten them yet, and they don't all have, what it takes to make a professional quality video. So I think that we're going to see another wave of that, DIY, but it'll be like kids now have HD cameras and they now have all the equipment that, the pros have. So I love skateboarding, for better or worse. And I think there are certain elements that kind of weird me out about where things are at right now, like more, we need faster information, but that's the information age and that's the age we're in. Skateboarding is just, just progressing accordingly, to the times we're in. But I mean, there's certain elements that kind of weird me out a little bit, like kids are so hung up with being sponsored, and again, it goes through waves. Now they're really hung up on what type of gear you have and what type of shoes you have and whatnot. And I mean, that was an issue when you were a kid, but individualism was supported a lot more. It seems as if you don't have like certain shoes and a certain style and a certain kit, you're like super cut again. It's very similar to the early to mid 90s, and I think it's time for a new generation to kind of break that mold as well. And, I mean, as far as the progression of skateboarding, where it's gone, I mean, it's insane. It's like watching Street League contests and watching, the current state of contests and how consistent dudes are and how gnarly they are. It's like, that's insane how far that's gone and how much that's progressed. And I can't do anything but be in awe of that. Like, it's just amazing, But there's still people out in the streets, like, fighting and trying to make video parts and trying to make it happen. So I can really relate to that, obviously, because that's where I came from. So I feel like I'm hyped on where things are. I think my biggest contribution to skateboarding is similar to what Chris Markovich did for me, and that's to prove that, you can come from an unlikely place, and if you work hard enough, and if you apply yourself, and you can make it happen. Anyone can make it happen. You just have to be willing to, do what it takes and wait it out and just keep working until it happens. And I think that's been my biggest contribution, is just encouraging other kids to follow their dreams and make that happen. As far as what I've done skateboarding wise, like I don't know that stuff, that's not for me to say. But I do know that I'm really thankful to be here. I'm super thankful for everyone that supported me to make it possible.